Beautiful faces, as you see on the chair. And I think what we're going to do first to start out is to kind of go around and introduce everybody and give a little bit of their background and kind of talk about what we're going to be talking about today. And just a little brief disclaimer, not disclaimer, but this is audience friendly, so whatever we're talking about today, there will be opportunities during where you guys can have your opinions or answer questions, ask questions. It's a very, very open environment here, so no judgment. You guys can say what you feel, how you feel, etc. Also, feel free to tweet. We're tweeting, they're tweeting. Take pictures, shout us out, Nappywood. But yeah, so like I said, my name is Remington. I'm in my last year at Syracuse University, so I'm a broadcast journalism major. And so I do journalism. That's what I do. And I go around and interview people, and my focus is on entertainment specifically, but more so on the deeper side of entertainment, which is trying to get into what these artists are really, really passionate about, how they got to where they are, just about their life stories. And I'm also working on an online magazine where I go around and talk to millennials. It's weird to say that word to me, but the millennial generation, and kind of empower them to be the best that they can be and also communicate with one another, connect with one another, which is kind of why we're here today as well. So I'm gonna pass this down to my next moderator, Dee.
Good afternoon. So my name is Lena Kennedy. I'm actually from Chicago, Illinois, so I'm quite a ways to be here today, but I'm happy to be a moderator and a panelist today. So what I do is I actually work in the IT space. I'm an enterprise architect, which no one really knows what that means, but just think of it as governing softwares and applications within the company, but also I cover a lot of events in Chicago and different tech events on my blog, so that's dinamckay.com. And I also do live tweeting for tech events, and I've got some other things in the works. That's what I do currently, so I will pass it to Maya.
Thank you. So my name is Maya Smith, and I am a very recent grad of Will Marymount University, a little ways west over here. I'm an African American Studies, I have an African American Studies degree, and pre-law. So my goal is to become a culturally responsible attorney of law in concentration of exonerations, wrongful convictions, things of that nature. I also do nonprofit work, so I do mentor kids at local high schools. I'm really big on knowledge of self and like trying to get people to be in higher education, just know that they can be better, especially kids because they don't get to see that while they're in school. So that's just a little bit about me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it.
I can talk. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyree Lloyd Hates. I am a professor of African Studies at Cal State University. A contributor to Huffington Post Black Voices, as well as an entrepreneur and founder of Black Population, which is the latest hub for all things Black in Los Angeles for millennials. So I'm very excited to be here, and I love Black. I use this one.
1, 2.
I know. I don't need it either. Like I'm talking about like, hi everybody, my name is Lizzie Okoro. There's a lot of O's in there. I'm not Japanese, I am Nigerian. I get that quite often. People are really confused when I show up. It's whatever. Anyways, I am the founder, publisher, and editor-in-chief of Bunch Magazine. Bunch is a print magazine for and about creatives. Like basically liken it to being like an entrepreneur magazine for the creative set. And I am also the founder of a new upcoming conference called Here in Us, which is specifically for Black entrepreneurial women. So it's a conversation and celebration of Black young women. We're really excited about it. It's coming November. That's my last plug.
We also have Zeke over here.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh, okay, there it goes. My name is Dee Lovell Scott. I am known as Lady Z, otherwise known as the SEO Queen. I'm a violinist and a digital marketer.
Hi, y'all. Hi, everybody. I've been running around, so I really love today's Right to Space today. We're discussing groups into
And where some might think, oh, we're talking about technology and new media and social media and entrepreneurship, we are talking about all of those things, right? But we also are talking about a deeper meaning behind the idea of the digital revolution that's happening right now. And we're also talking about the sense of the African diaspora and how we're able to connect beyond just our own local community, our own individual stuff. But we're able to actually connect others in Utah and in Brazil and South America and Africa and South Africa, right? Those people who maybe are Black in Japan, right? So we're really able to create this conversation. And I also just wanted to invite everyone to really connect offline today as well, because there's so much happening online. There's almost like an information, overload. Yes, exactly. And sometimes it's overwhelming. And so today we're connecting offline, and we're going to have a conversation and really hope that everybody feels comfortable in speaking their mind, being part of the conversation. Today's really like a talk back, so we're talking with you all. Like, it's not us just like talking at you. No, we're gonna like really try to embrace our indigenous ways and really have a conversation. Okay, so feel free to like put your hand up and be like, well, I have something to say about that, and or I have a thought about that. And while people are talking up here, we're not gonna have a question and answer at the end. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. All right, welcome everyone. My name is Brighton, so happy to be here.
Thanks, Brighton. So exactly what Brighton said, the theme of the day is the revolution will be digitized. So that being said, we're going to talk a lot about what that means to you, what that means to us, the actual technical side behind that, which is why we have a technical genius right next to me, Tina, because I don't know anything about that. And we're going to really have a discussion, conversation. And so, like Brian said, if you guys hear something that you want to respond to while we're talking, feel free to raise your hand. It's not, it's very informal. We want you guys to be a part of this. We want to be private with you. So I guess for starters, we're gonna have kind of an icebreaker type thing, which is talking about what the topic means to you. So what do you guys want to learn from this? So we can kind of get a sense of what you guys want to talk about as well as what we'll be talking about today. We're going to, well, for starters, we're going to be talking about what the revolution is, and then also how is it being digitized, and then what the future of the revolution means to us and what we can do to progress as we go on. So we kind of want to get a feel from you guys what your goals are, and also what does revolution mean to you. So I don't know if we want to start. No. Well, does anybody want to start? Anybody? Yeah. Oh, do you want the mic, or are you good with your voice?
So then, Johnny. Oh, okay, cool. So the revolution will be digitized. Like kind of like the payoff of the revolution will be televised, it will not be televised. You know what I mean? So, I think social media now, and I think with Snapchat and Facebook and everything, it will be digitized because we are now, the millennials are now, like, they have a phone now, before they do, they live, everything is live and everything is right now, so I like the name of it. I feel like it is very present and it's very now, so I'm excited to learn more about this. I'm not necessarily a millennial, don't believe, but I do believe. That's like born in the 90s, right? No, 83. 82. What?
No,
And I really I'm getting into it now, trying to quit my job. I want to be just digitize my own skills. So we have to wait, we have to talk, and I love this whole platform. I don't know if this is how I'm supposed to break the house.
Thank you. Anybody else? That was great.
Yes. Hi, my name is John. I'm excited to be here because I am a millennial, 1998, and I cannot like social media. I think it's very invasive. I think it disconnects people, and it makes people socially awkward in public places. It's like, how are you sitting at dinner with me and you're on your phone? This is rude. And it started with texting, and now it's the apps. So I would love to hear your thoughts on how we can, when you said this to connect offline, that was so neat because I feel like social media has hindered my ability to connect offline. And it hinders not just me, but just people in general, just communicating and having open conversation. Like not asking for the Wi-Fi password as soon as you get something. Just stuff like that. So I'm an artist. I'm a vocalist, so I have to be social media. I'm valued in this industry based on social media. So I look forward to hearing your perspective on that because it can affect my confidence in myself, my perception of others, and I want to be educated so I'm not jaded by just my impression of it.
I 100% agree with what you said. I hate social media. I feel forced to use it.
Hi, my name is Reese. I just moved here from Philly. So my question, I think what I want to pick up from this is we're using social media to now document occurrences and things that are happening to the community that others do not believe, think that we're lying. So like when we see our brothers and sisters dying, how is it that the Constitution is still not working for us? Even though I know we can use the argument it never was supposed to. But now that we have this technology to prove this needs to change, how is the revolution going to do that digitally when the Constitution is
So, just to clarify what you said, when I think of the revolution will be digitized, I really have concern because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation using that social media. There's a lot of things that can be true that people don't understand. I feel like we're infiltrated, if that makes sense. I don't know who's behind these pages that are trying to give me knowledge of themselves, or just certain knowledge. Who's behind the page? I don't know who's going to give me information. So it's like I need to know how do we navigate that, as well as how do we stop ourselves from kind of being desensitized from seeing all these being documented on social media, as she said.
I'm making endorsing. I just want to say, not so much for what you guys don't want to give a shout out. I'm so proud of right in here. My brother, he just left the back. I know him again. We went to school together, we went to school together, college and years ago. And so I'm very proud of what we did together for all of my heritage, all African heritage, Black heritage, things like that. From pride, God, nature side to the natural, the early, and everything like that. It's really good college over here, and so I was right over here. But some around here, kids, and my husband also went to this. Was very quick with music and everything like that. I was proud of what you guys accomplished. I was happy to see you. We said right back to them, so we go way back.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great way to, I think on a positive note with the icebreaker, I think that's a great way to kind of segue into our conversation for the day, which is basically the icebreaker itself. What is the revolution? And I think that's what we're going to start off with talking about. And the revolution means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And depending on what your race is, what your socioeconomic status is, what your sexual orientation is, what your religion is, it used to be, the phrase originated as, I think, John. You were saying before, it came from the revolution will be televised, but prior to the revolution will not be televised, right? And so the origin of that was a very, very popular slogan back in the 1960s for the Black Panther movement. But also it was a song, a poem that was released from Gil Scott-Heron. And it was to document, it was to illustrate how a lot of times during that era, everything was being televised. And it was during the time where TV was very prominent. Everything was being on the screen and people were in front of the television nonstop. Everything was being documented from the civil rights movement to the Vietnam War. Everything was on the television. And so what they were trying to say was, what's going on? The revolution is not going to be in front of the screen. It's going to be what's happening outside the screen. So we need to get out of in front of the screen so we can do something about it. We can join the revolution. But now, a lot of the times, what we're hearing is, rappers and artists are starting to say after that, the revolution will be televised because they're using the television as an art form to be a part of the revolution because they're seeing that people are being in front of the television nonstop. We can't do anything about that. So we're going to use that as a way to be a part of the revolution instead of telling people, you know what, you gotta get outside. Yeah, that's true, but also this is a great way to spread the revolution and to actually make it aware. So, being now that television is kind of dying, the phrase being digitized, it means that it's going on all different platforms. It's going on our computers, it's going on our phones, it's going on our, I don't know what else exists, cameras, it's going on our, whatever. It's going on the internet, essentially. Or watches, yeah, there are watches now that record things. And so that being said, when we are seeing things on the street and we're seeing injustices happen right in front of us, we can document that and we can use these platforms to actually demonstrate the revolution. And so, that being said, I want to open this up to you guys and say, how has the revolution changed and how do you think it is changing, if it is changing at all, guys? And
Thank you. Thank you. That's a great question. And okay, you heard that. That's a great question, and I wanted to speak to that. I think that, when you think about Rosewood, when you think about Black Wall Street, when you think about the bombing in Philly, when you think about all these incidents, one thing that is a common thread through these horrifying incidences is the fact that it's a group of highly concentrated communities of people in a brick and mortar location. Now, when you talk about technology and communication, COINTELPRO, Marcus Garvey and the CIA and all these other things, the thing that I see, the opportunity I see now is the hashtag community building unity in a decentralized way. Now, I could elaborate more on that, but I'm not. But I just want to say that when it comes to organizing, when it comes to communication, I think that the internet has provided a very unique, a very powerful, a very effective platform to document the injustices you were pointing out and how we're all most painfully aware of. But it also gives us an opportunity to use that technology to develop our own channels, our own methods of communication to achieve the goals that we set.
I have a question, or just want to know what your thoughts are in response to what you just said. The power of decentralized media. We talk about television in the 1960s and 70s. Even today, there's a limited amount of channels. So if you're televising something, like the masses are getting, it's like a big deal. In a decentralized way that social media is organized now, or you're on Facebook and you're getting shown things that are similar to what you're posting, like in what ways is that helpful, and what ways is it end up speaking to the choir of these, maybe more intimate communities that are created because of who's searching out particular hashtags versus like changing other people's minds that don't already know, how do you
I think those members in the community who understand what propaganda is and what it can do, they can really leverage those channels to effectively communicate their message, whether it's on Blog Talk Radio, which I actually have a podcast on that show, on that channel, on that platform. Whether it's Facebook. Facebook gets kind of dicey. A lot of people go to Facebook jail for speaking their minds. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's texting. There recently was a boycott that was started via text. Really wasn't talked about on social media, but it spread like wildfire. There's just a lot of ways that the technology hasn't caught up to how to control the dissemination of information. You know, my dad is a big football, and he was varsity in high school, played college, and my brother, we're a football family. So when you talk about strategy, you know, seeing the holes, you know, where can you communicate your message to those who agree, and then also forums where people are looking to learn, as you were saying, you have to be wise and have a balance. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's, you know, being passionate about what you do and just communicating more effectively and sharpening your communication skills, because we live in a society where free speech has a cost. You know, you really have to pick and choose how you choose to communicate reality and facts. I mean, this is just the way it is. And you can use that to your advantage when you are strategic about it. That's how I see it.
Hey guys. I think in this conversation that we should really operationalize what revolution is. Revolution is the complete upheaval of a regime and order, right? And Black people have always been subservient to a particular order, regime, that is suppressed and marginalized in every single aspect of their lives. The revolution will be digitized is the amplification of those voices, of those where there are silos and vacuums. See, they're talking right now. They woke. And they see the opportunity to actually implement change. Black people are the first adopters of all technology. A lot of people don't know that. And so for us to be on Twitter and to create Black Twitter, and for us to be able to move and shake and even organize entire civil rights movements on 140 characters shows how powerful and intuitive we are using these tools for our own liberation. That's not the right words.
I want to just piggyback on what you said here. You know, let us not forget Marcus Garvey. He started the newspaper Negro World, which was published on 3 continents simultaneously without the use of the internet. There's a lot of genius and power in our community. And if you seek it, if you seek the technology, if you learn how to really use it from a developer standpoint, there's a lot of value that can be created. There's a lot of people I know, Tariq Nasheed, he has a social media network that's supposed to be launching this month. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Hidden Colors documentary series, which is the most successful documentary series ever. And, you know, he's doing a lot of things. There's a lot of people doing things on YouTube and Ustream and, you know, all these places. Get in where you fit in. I think everybody's voice is really necessary. I think it's really necessary because there's so much diversity amongst the diaspora. And it's very important, as you were saying, to embrace that and remember what has come before us as well. Marcus Garvey, I would urge all of you guys to study his work in life. Very inspirational.
I was just gonna say, this might be diverging a little bit, I'm so loud. I'm usually told to be quiet. This isn't being a tangential point, but I've just been having this conversation a lot with different friends who are very anti-social media, or they're totally for social media. And a lot of them say, well, I don't want to post anything because I don't want to bandwagon. I don't want to bandwagon, I don't want to bandwagon. Me posting about something, me joining the conversation because I'm not actually doing something, not connecting offline. And after, initially I was like, yeah, I see that. I feel very similarly. I'm about action, not just about talking. But what I realized, especially after the Orlando shooting in particular, is I heard a lot of voices that I had never heard before. People who get into that point of being fed up. People who, you know, were very mild in their opinion, very mild in their action, and who were suddenly vocal, and they were participating, and they were excited. And for me, I started to change my opinion of it doesn't matter whether you're bandwagon or not. If you're coming from a place of genuinely trying to participate in the conversation, just that awareness and talking to other people, that's something that's important and special. And that's something that I haven't seen in a very, very long time, especially in this post-racial Obama law that we live in. So there's a common, which I was a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's suddenly people are talking. I think the fact that social media, whether you are, protesting or marching or joining these kinds of conversations online, the fact that you're engaged online does say something to you. I don't think that it needs to be discredited. It means something. So yes, the revolution will be digitized. I'm for it. I thank you for defining revolution as well, because it is so important just to feel the same page in terms of language. So yeah.
Somebody else. I mean, so continuously piggybacking, but it wasn't gonna be that quick. I mean, I just wanted to say though, basically from what everyone else is saying, the whole premise of everything being digitized is makes this archive like everything stays forever.
Right.
And if we're constantly moving forward, there's always something that we can be referencing, and it makes me feel hopeful that there's these tiny steps. Because for me, I'm not an extrovert, I'm an introvert, so I think I like to process what I'm thinking, giving it a space that I know it's reaching a lot of people, but like for me, this is kind of nervous, like nerve-wracking just to be speaking in front of people, but to do that online, it's like these little steps forward that I feel like are, I think they're helping people individually, I think they're helping people just to, come together.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also want to, really quickly before I get to you in the back, I just want to touch on something that she said, being an introvert and having to take little steps. I think with the revolution of technology, it's a lot of people feel pressured now that because there is Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, all this stuff, and if they're not posting there, that makes them less of an activist, that makes them less for the cause, or that they're not using a hashtag, that makes them less of somebody to stand for what's right. And I feel like as people, we should stop ostracizing and or ridiculing people if they choose not to do that as well, because that's not fair to them either. Everybody's going to react in a different way. Everybody's going to process things in a different way. And just because they're not going saying hashtag Black Lives Matter or posting an article or posting a video does not mean they don't care. And their silence sometimes is not because they don't want to say anything, it's because they don't know what to say and they're trying to process what to say. And what they will say will come soon, you just have to give them that time. So I think going on through that is, yes, some people are going to use social media for that advantage, but also they don't want to use it because it's not their time yet. They don't know what to do with it, and maybe they're going about it in a different way. So I also want people to, think about that throughout this conversation as well. You said about
Yeah.
the mic or?
Yes.
Oh.
So I was agreeing with what the gentleman was saying on the panel because we're basically using these other platforms that people have built, CEOs, executives in Silicon Valley.
Right.
But I'm a developer, we need to kind of build our own platform, or build our own products that because when we're communicating this message, whether it's social protests or products that we created, et cetera, but we're using these platforms that exist, their standpoint from a corporate perspective is that they own everything that's been written. Facebook can go out and produce another product that spins off the quotes and content that people who are writers are actually writing. So it's like we don't own our own platform, we're just kind of like giving it away.
Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to kind of add on that.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Is it on now? Yeah. Okay. So I kind of want to piggyback on that too. That's what I meant when I was, partially in part, when I was saying like infiltration. Like I said, I'm gonna be an attorney. So I'm not gonna put everything about Black issues and our solutions and what we're trying to do. I'm not gonna put that out there for everybody to see because I don't think everyone needs to know what we're doing for us. Like for us by us. We need to do stuff that all of us can connect on and we can build our own platforms. Like you said, like I don't need to hear opinions from other people. Like, if you're not living in this and trying to deal with this, like, that's not going to help. So, that also goes with when you were saying, like, some people don't post, like, some people are just strategic in what they do, just like I am. Like, just because I don't post everything, like, I'll post some stuff, but I don't give everyone the privilege of knowing and about how I feel. And my job, or wherever I'm gonna go, they don't need to know all that, you know, but best believe, anytime I'm talking to somebody, you know, I'm planting seeds, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm putting stuff in people's ears, especially Black folks, you know what I mean? That's not, I'm trying to break certain cycles and things that we have. So just because people are not, going back on what you said, just because people are not as vocal does not mean they're not doing stuff off social media. And that's like one of the major things. We need people in the streets that are doing stuff that's gonna really matter besides behind the screen.
All right. My brother, I appreciate you. That's why I created Black Book of Lane. Black Book of Lane was created out of the frustration that me and my girlfriend had about being unable to be in Los Angeles and connect with other Black millennials. And we were tired of, we could only watch Netflix for so much. You could only Netflix and chill with your bag for and out of our frustration, we created a platform that we could put on ourselves. And we are, through Black Book of Lane, are beginning to circulate Black dollars, Black millennials that work Black owned businesses. And with that, we're allowing to replicate the Black Wall Street that we want to see in real time in brick and mortar on the internet. And there is no white supervision that goes over the curatorial effort that we put every single week. We do it ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves, for the people who look just like us. And I'm grateful to be able to own something as a Black man, to be able to pass it on to my Black children, so that they themselves can put it on for the generation. Because an activist can only be an activist for so long. You can only be on the big line. What do you do when you just trying to kick and chill? What does an activist do? You know what I'm saying? They want to go turn up. They want to kick it. You know what I'm saying? So Black Book of Lane is all of yours. And it's a pleasure to be able to have started in May. We now serve over 3,000 Black millennials in Los Angeles. But it's not because we did, it's the community that we're serving. When you speak to the need of our people, amazing things happen.
I just want to say something in response to what you just shared. I'm really glad that I'm here today because I'm for a year. And this is me breaking out. It's my first time stepping out of I don't see people of color around me ever. Like I was telling her, like all of my friends are Hispanic, and I want to be for African Americans. Like I told my dad, I'm in a culture shock out here because I feel like I can't find my own people. And like I gotta learn fucking Spanish in order to like succeed out here, and it's crazy. I'm trying to learn LA, my native language, my dad is Liberian. So it's just like. Do I have to adapt to this stuff out here? So I'm really, really happy to know that that you fostered a community like that because I know people that community.
Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Yeah, welcome home. Welcome home.
I just have something really, really quick to say before we can go on with this, because I think this is a great conversation. But if there are any entrepreneurs, I know you have entrepreneurs here, I know you have entrepreneurs in the audience, please take advantage of this opportunity and this space. If you guys have a project going on, if you hear somebody's story and say, I think I could connect something could work here, please use this opportunity. We're here to help one another. We're here to help people grow. We're not here to put anybody down, no competition. So if you see something, please don't be afraid to say, hey, I have something I want to say, and I want to get you guys' opinion. Please do that, because this is all about our growth. This is how we all grow together. So I just want you guys to know that. I'll listen to it. Oh yeah, also there's a concert after the aka a networking party, so if y'all want to that, you're invited. So, so there you go, that will work. But I guess also kind of going back to the conversation of, because this will lead into more of the technology side of things, which is we'll cover. Kind of going back to the idea of the hashtag, there has been a lot of debate recently about if the hashtag is effective or if it is not effective. And in the beginning, when the hashtag, hashtag Black Lives Matter, very, 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 very prominent hashtag, especially in this time. And now a lot of times, nowadays, people are saying it's no longer as effective because it keeps happening. And so a lot of people are saying we need more than just a hashtag at this point. But people, the other side is saying, the hashtag is how it is starting and people are becoming more aware. So I want to know your guys' thoughts. Are you pro hashtag, anti hashtag, both, why not? Are you seeing the effects? Are you seeing it's not working? What's up with the hashtag?
Yes. I say that I'm hashtag because I am actually generation Y. So for me to see the hashtags, and I actually live in Florida. I live in a local town called Nappywood, and it's actually like I was one of the 20 Black kids in junior high.
Wow.
Out of like 400. That's both grades.
Wow.
So for me to see this hashtag where I'm living, and for me to be a person who moved out of that, that atmosphere into a Black atmosphere, my school, my high school, diverse. And for me to be here and listen to this and want to be able to go back and share that with them is very important now that we're talking about hashtags, because I know a lot of kids at my school who, retweet live on Periscope and retweet using that hashtag. That's something to think about.
I am big. Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a blogger. I am big on hashtags. I will post a photo and have a book that literally I don't have any shame because it works.
Right.
If I put natural, people automatically click on my photo because I put natural.
Right.
I'm 29, so I was in the midst of. I was around for. Who remembers? What was that one TV show? Well, it was a music program where you had to call and request.
The Box?
The Box! I was a part of that last 3-4 years ago. I was part of MTV, it was white, it was blacks. I was a part of all of that. So for me, it's like now social media, I had to learn how to adapt to make it my everyday routine. That wasn't what I grew up with. I grew up with Rugrats and all that stuff. And also, I worked in DR. Come Inglewood. I'm from LA, so come Inglewood, the trains on La Tierra, La Cienega, we have all the Black people you ever meet. But hashtags do matter. Black lives do matter. And I use all my platforms, and so I have to adapt. So as someone who's coming up, this is her whole life, I have to adapt and make it my whole life. So it's been fun. So I appreciate this. Yeah.
Thank you. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about hashtags. So I'm mostly on the tech part, but for hashtags, for me, that's how I've met a lot of people in the community that are like me. That's how you connect online. But the thing is, you can have all the hashtags you want, but if you don't meet in person and kind of put an action behind that, the hashtag means nothing.
Right.
You're just, okay, so you hashtag Black Lives Matter, but did you meet that person that also hashtagged or retweeted you back?
Right.
It's not gonna matter. So it's always the action that's also behind the hashtag. But I have found a lot of people, especially in the Chicago area. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. So I moved to Chicago to go to school. I didn't know anybody. All I knew were my roommates. And when I first moved, there were no Black people in my building.
Right.
So to start using Twitter, start connecting with people, that's where I started making connections and connecting with people that have similar interests and like to do similar things. But again, if I didn't ask them, oh, do you want to meet up and go to an event? Or, oh, passing events along,
Right.
It wouldn't have mattered. It's just a hashtag.
Right.
So it has to be an action behind that hashtag.
One more thing. You know, it's funny, I'm from here, born and raised in Inglewood, California. I actually left and moved to Park Atlanta. Proud alumni, APC graduate, and I actually went searching for what was lacking here. So I agree. What's your name? Yeah, I agree with Jasmine. But if you go more east, yeah, you come to the east side. You're on the west side. Come to the east side. So my high school was black and white.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, black and Latin. be very specific. It wasn't anybody else, it was some Puerto Ricans, but then I said, I want to go to an agency, I want to see what's up. So I left. So I went to APC and I moved to Miami. And I had all, now I would say we went to Miami, I experienced what you experienced.
Really cool.
Yeah, I didn't like it. They're very racist people over there. I will say that. The humans are not nice people. But I forgot why I brought it up. I you guys, I was saying, so what you guys crave, I crave too, and I left them. Like, wow. I went to an all-black school, all-black middle school, all-black church, all-black, and I still was like, what those outfits? And I want to see what's up. You know, so, yeah, this is next.
So, I went to Ferguson last year for the 1 year anniversary, which is actually like coming up. It's gonna be the second anniversary for Michael Brown. And I went to Ferguson to show support and solidarity for the people and the work that was being done there. All because of a hashtag. I was triggered August 9, 2014 by Michael Brown's death and watching it from my Twitter timeline in Los Angeles, California. And having seen his body lay there for 4.5 hours, it did something to me in a way that it was so visceral that I still cannot even really piece together. But because of seeing the ways that I was able to mobilize and organize and synthesize the conversation for those who were living in Los Angeles, I saw the power of social media in ways that I never knew. My Twitter account went from 940 to what is now almost 5,000 Twitter followers in 2 years, all because of my social media handle. But I don't do it. All of my social media is built off of bolstering and amplifying the voices of those who have gone unheard, and most importantly, Black women. Because the movement for Black lives, all of us should know, was started by 3 Black women who decided on a Facebook status to hashtag Black Lives Matter. But even as they've been able to galvanize and mobilize an entire civil rights movement, there have been people who have actively tried to erase their Black femininity from the conversation.
And queerness.
And queerness. See how long it took me to arrive to that? All of those things should be priority. And so what the hashtag Black Lives Matter is able to do, and just any hashtag it allows for in the space of Africanity, is that Black women should be the center of their own movements. Black women should be the center of the conversation. The only reason why Black Lives Matter exists is because it was built off Black women's backs. So I would be remiss to not even to ignore that. And even my amplification and my status in social media has only been because of 3 Black women. I can't erase them. And the hashtag will only happen because we as Black people have always been using our voice, called NOMO. Y'all don't know that African term. It's called NOMO, the power of the word. The hashtag is an embodiment or an extension of our very heritage. So when we say the hashtag, it's really just a NOMO that has been digitized for the world to see.
And so one thing I love about hashtags, which is why I'm so pro-hashtag, is that although I do not actively use it because I am formulating an opinion before I just say something, I use it as the news because I don't necessarily like what other platforms are saying about us because it's not the truth. So I'll go on and be like, what is this Black Lives Matter? Hours and hours and people and opinions. I value that so much. Like even 2 days ago, it was Eminem versus Drake. I was like, what? So it's just like how fast we've evolved and we pick up one thing and it spirals and we have conversations which I deem highly important because we do learn from each other. And I'm learning that we don't need those platforms that have been there and have tried to tell our story for us. So I forever will use hashtags.
Black people are naturally viral. Like everything we do hits thousands of hits. No, and it's I'm gonna keep it 100. Like the reason why the revolution is digitized is because everything we do is viral, from the cornrows in our hair to goddess, faux locks, all of the above. Even the ways that we move in a particular song. What is it? Judas, what is it called? The Dad. You see, I had to do the movie. Every conversation around that is happening now. Because really, everyone wants what we do so naturally. And what it's so crazy, like we can film some kids right now, even if we did a scan across this room, I'm telling you, Vogue, Ebony, Vogue, Elle, or any other white publication would be like, so how did she get her hair done? how do you fit that now? She can get like, and so then it'll become H&M's next fashion line, and they'll be like, well, this is the latest chic hits. No, we've been doing this for years. Y'all just co-opted on what we do so beautiful.
So that actually leads me to another question. So how, because we are trendsetters, everyone's doing what we're doing, how do we protect our voice when it comes to, so obviously we tweeted your outfit right now. Someone could be like, okay, well, this is the new style.
Right.
How do we protect our voices? How do we get, I guess, how do we make sure it's always ours? How do we make sure that stays within our culture and we get credit for what we've been doing?
You call them out.
Thank you.
And really, as simple as that. It's not always, I understand it can be very difficult to have this conversation. A lot of times we don't have the vocabulary. There's always the assumption that we as Black people know how to confront, know how to speak about certain things, know how to call people out on it. So it may not be for everybody, but it is as simple as saying it. I had a friend who I wish he could have been here because he would have been all over this conversation. But we were literally, he had a situation where we were walking and he saw a white woman approaching that had on a dashiki. And he's like, hey, where'd you get that from? And she was like, oh, I got it in Amsterdam. And he was like, really, because it's very offensive. And her face just went like, you know, as white as that chair, you know? And I don't think you always have to be confrontational or it always has to be a negative conversation. I think that there's opportunities to make a teachable moment and really open it up. Like when Amanda Stenberg, you know, had her don't cash crop my cornrows essay, and she literally, you know, sent it to Kylie Jenner, like, hey boo, like, you are the number one with your lips and your hair and your Black boyfriend, your booty and everything else. Like, let me teach you about this. Unfortunately, her response was like, go play with Jaden Smith. You know, it was very dismissive. And so not everyone's going to be open to what you have to say, but when the opportunity arises, why not take it? No, why not talk to people? Why not take the opportunity to tell them about it? And again, it doesn't always have to be like approach, but having conversations because we're all here in this together so people understand cultural appropriation versus appreciation. Fine line, but let's have that conversation.
I want to bring up something that you brought up too. I think it's very, I'm all pro, like I said before, everybody's going to react how they're going to react.
Yeah.
Because you can't judge a person on how they're going to react to a particular issue. That's how they chose to, you know, display their emotions. Go for it.
Yeah.
But I also have found the beauty in really, really, like you said, teaching rather than attacking. Because when people feel like you're attacking them, rather than trying to teach them through love and through, this is really offensive, let me try to have this conversation with you as to why it's offensive, rather than, hey, you don't know what you're doing, no. It's almost as if their ears go silent because they can't hear you anymore. Because it's like they feel like they're being attacked. It's like, I know if somebody's yelling at me, it's like it's almost as if all of my defense mechanisms come up rather than I'm actually really paying attention to what you're saying. And I feel like, you know, if that's your way of coping with things, if you feel like that's your way of addressing an issue, then I also address, you know, coming from things of love, that's the only way that we can actually progress as people, because when you come from love, people actually want to listen to you because they feel like, okay, I understand, maybe I'm gonna try to understand because I don't feel like I'm actually being bombarded by all these noises, you know? So I feel like it's very important.
About bringing people together, and if you discard one, you're already defeating your purpose. So there's always got to be a way where you fight for that one person to
get to your side,
Right.
to understand the place that you're coming from, to bring them in from a space of love, and then it just grows and grows and grows from there. So I love that you bring it up.
That's also why to really, people like me, it's very important to take the moment. Like you said, instead of just speaking out, because when you read and you see, you get so angry initially, you just want to attack. And sometimes it's best to sit back and evaluate before you open your mouth when you're tweeting with something. Because that one situation, because you're just reacting to something, then it kind of, you just join sit back, like you said. Oh, you said you kind of all an introduction, like to assess things first. Yeah, that's what I had to learn with social media. I'm from the Bronx. And sometimes we just want to put bad.
Is that it's not your responsibility to teach anybody anything. And just because you point something out or you call somebody in or you call them out at that moment, doesn't mean that then that automatically makes you their teacher. It doesn't mean you have to all of a sudden break it down for them. Folks gotta do their own work.
Right.
You did your own work at a certain point when you didn't know something, when you didn't know about gender issues. You do your own work. So if you are called to do so, great. But I think we should not feel it. Because that's like further adding to the oppressive nature of what we're dealing with, right? So I don't think anybody has to feel like they have to do that work, but feel free to point things out because that's the only way that folks are gonna know. But I don't think that responsibility, that's what you're feeling sometimes, the responsibility to have to then break down. You don't have to do all that. The folks have to do their own stuff. They want to be an ally, they want to understand better. It's all incumbent upon folks to do their own individual stuff.
Yes. I don't know if everyone has addressed this, but I really feel like one of the major issues is a lack of self-love in our own community. And it's understandable because, we've been born, saw the slavery and everything has been against us. But just like you take an individual, if they have low self-esteem and then everybody that they attract into their lives is abusive toward them, that's what we're attracting. And I feel like, generally speaking, I had a conversation over the weekend, and this is not just a African American thing, and I didn't know that, but I had a conversation over the weekend with some people from Mali and Guinea,
And when I tell you their love and admiration for America and all things American, and the fact that they will sit here and spend $150 on a shirt and not have enough food in the house, like that thing is, that's global. That's a global issue. So in a way, I feel like that is the main thing that we need to work on is this love, this self-empowerment, all of that, because I feel like that then fuels us to invest in ourselves, like as far as businesses and Black-owned businesses and things like that, and that stimulates the economy and all of those things. So we let people like take our culture and kind of use it and sell it back to us because we don't understand the value of who we are.
Can I piggyback on what she said? Let me have a say. Come on now. I've been quiet. That's a great point. Because at Nappywood, we're talking about hair. I have personal experience. My sorority sister started a weave company, and they were blocked out of the supply chain, so they had to shut their company down. Why are we, as Black people, buying our hair products from the Koreans and the Chinese? There's no need for that. We have all this innovation right here. We need to retweet, like, use your platform, talk to you. We need to go after silver rights, the money. We need to not use products not made by us, not for us. Because a lot of those hair companies, a lot of those Korean and Chinese hair companies, they selling you raccoon hair, tire stuff. They selling you any and everything. So the quality control is non-existent. It's go on YouTube. There's a Black-owned, I don't remember the hair company, but they have an expose on all the shadiness in the beauty supplies. It is imperative that we support our own and go out of our way to find them. And that brings me back to the technology part. As business owners, it is your responsibility to use search engine optimization so that people like us can find you. Use those meta tags. Go to my site. I'm giving away a lot of information free. Campaigns that have generated millions of dollars for businesses all over the world. You know, and it is my passion, it is my purpose to help business owners get, especially our community, business owners in our community, to get the visibility for their businesses, because there really is no white supremacy online. Whether you either have the product or you don't. You either come up on Google page 1 or you don't. You know, there's no, oh, I shot the guy, there's video, and oh, there's no justice. No, there's none of that. It's either you are or you aren't. It's either 1 or 0. And we need to take advantage of that. Focus on that. Absolutely. I'm off my soapbox.
Hey, you know, I was listening to you, I was listening to this. Just listen. It's happening because there's a liquor store on every corner in the hood owned by the Korean boy. Because the brothers ain't taking their money and opening their own liquor store. I don't drink, but if I went to the corner and saw a Black-owned liquor store and a white-owned liquor, whatever they are, on liquor store, I go to the brother and buy. The Korean lady, I ain't mad at her because she said these niggas, and that's how they look at us. She saying these niggas gonna buy this hair. I know you, Black girl. I see you in ghetto. You buy hair from me. And no Black women, people talking about they do this and doing that. Ain't nobody saying, well, here's $10,000, here's $10,000, here's $10,000, here's $10,000. Now we got $40,000, let's open the store and put some hair in it. But we complaining that the Korean lady is dogging us and they selling hair. But ain't nobody, I see Black people all the time. I'm a Black business owner too. I'm a roofer. I have my own business. I'm struggling right now, but I still work for myself. And I'm drug free, and I'm in my 60s. So I've been seeing this for a minute. And then people talk about they doing all this, they doing all that, but ain't nobody saying, well, let's get this little baby storefront right here. Because it's like selling dope. You can take the dope man and let him run your business. He'll sell it like he's selling dope, but he ain't selling dope now, he's selling hope. And he'll take it and he'll make some money.
But it's kind of irritating to a point, not putting nobody down, because all of us are cool. I got love for all of you. But it's irritating to hear black people always talking about, well, you know, we getting on the Korean, man, that's all BS. The Korean did the right thing. He said, the niggas ain't gonna get it, we gonna
It's not true. No. They sabotage black-owned businesses in the hair industry. They sabotage it. It's an attack, economic attack.
And they get money, and we sit there buying liquor, blunts, and all kinds of stuff, when we could just put $2 together and have a little small baby business right there that can grow, and then we can stop saying what they do.
Or the manufacturers have our business, we have to invest in.
That's right.
Or we run out, we don't got this, we don't got that. And it's overpriced, and it's all raggedy on the inside. So we might have businesses, but we don't take that money and reinvest in the business so that it's nice. And the customer service probably sucks 9 out of 10 times.
We have to I was just gonna say, it's not, I feel like all that is relevant people, there's things to criticize, but I feel like it goes way more deeper than not having the ambition. And it's not just not having the ambition to do it. I mean, it's not the ambition, it's the reality of us coming together with the chemistry to be together.
Thank you.
I was the vice president of the National Association of Female Executives in Black Women in Data. So they sent me on to be a black woman from the White Office to be the president. I was the vice president. Today they cannot touch us building a chapter of executive women. We have 800 people in our network, and they can't touch our numbers now. So it's like Lisa brings it my phone now because we need that here. Because now I open up the door for all the black people, and when I open up the door for all the black sisters, I see them all over the internet and they can't get my email list to build their business. Do you think they're building mines right now and nothing happens? No. It's the nastiness that I get from being an international partner. But I keep moving forward because I'm opening those other doors. But it's not opening the doors for me. The bottom line is that we don't know how to come together to open up the doors for each other. We bring in and we pull up everybody's sources to get their life in the
Absolutely. So if we are going to have a discussion about what black people need to do, we need to have a historical discussion of what black people have already done.
Yes.
And if you really want to place the ways that African Americans have went through capitalism and the way that they have once the property given in that capitalism to function that as a cog in white supremacy, we are remiss to believe that we are actually spitting on the efforts of our ancestors and those who exist today. Black people cannot open up, as the gentleman eloquently said, that small mom and pop or liquor store that we would desire to have and buy our own liquor, which is a whole nother conversation. We can't even get it because we can't even get a loan. There's a
whole lot of black people that can't get loans.
My brother, let me talk.
But we are supporting each other, like,
Ma'am, I'm going to articulate.
All right, I'm gonna take the space back real quick. So I forgot to lay out the rules. So we are practicing our indigenous rights, right? We're having this round table discussion. Everyone has an equal voice here. The panelists are not more respected, more valued than you, right? Yes, but we need to respect each other in terms of the way that we share our comments, questions, concerns. So if you can just let someone finish their comments, lovely. Thank you so much. This is a great discussion. I'm so engaged.
We have a comment over here.
Wait, I didn't finish his comment.
So it's like as I'm saying, black people, we have been the most loving group of people on the face of this country. We have undergone some of the most oppressive things that any other group has ever faced. And so for us to invalidate the efforts that we give, to say that we do not necessarily support one another, is a failure to understand the roles in which external forces have created the opportunities and costs for us to not appreciate the very lives that we hold amongst one another.
We live, because of redlining, live in ghettos. Ghettos are instituted by the American government in order to section off areas where Black people are completely separate from whites. This is history. We are created and put into, we are funneled into ghettos under these oppressive circumstances where lights, water, bill, food is all rationed. And then we want to ask ourselves, why don't we love each other enough? It's like asking, how did the crabs get in the barrel? We never ask, why is there a barrel at all? First off, if you don't know this, crabs' natural habitats are in barrels. So who put the crabs in the barrel to begin with? Are crabs more mean to one another by pulling the other down because they're in the same congested place? No, crabs are just doing what crabs do. They're pining to get to the top. Black people are not crabs. We are people who love one another. But due to circumstances and oppressive circumstances, we do not know how to understand and love and appreciate what we do amongst ourselves so naturally. So to answer the question on what Black ownership looks like, it's looking like having these hard discussions. And then also saying, you know what, from these hard discussions, I'm going to build with my brothers, because I have a Black-owned business called Black Book LA, where we put on for Black businesses who are looking to touch and reach Black millennials who might need a house or a roof to fill. My brother, why don't we build so that I can bring traffic to your site, traffic to your business, so that when it's bigger and better, you will come back to use it and buy another ad. This is what it looks like. Not telling them, you know what, Black people, we need to get together. Black people, my man, I'm here wanting to get together. You know what I'm saying? It's love and peace and joy. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we already know what the circumstances are. I need you. Do you need me?
Peace, everybody. Great points. When I'm just getting in on this discussion, I'm soaking it all in. I feel like now is the time I can share something. I'm looking at the wall, looking at all the imagery here. I see Revolution on the TV. I see a picture of Bob Marley out there. There's a song that I just heard. It was like one of his sessions I was listening to earlier this week. It said it takes a revolution to make a solution, right? So when we're talking in groups like this, we have to have a solution. We can't talk about the problem. We've been talking about the problem for way too long. We have to speak about solutions now. And it takes a shift in your mind to, you know, because the problem is frustrating. We can talk about the problem and we all be sitting here frustrated with each other. But when we talk in solution, a click happens in the mind where we start focusing on solutions now, and it becomes a positive discussion. It's like, how can we, right? So I was just at a farmer's market. I'm a vendor. I sell at a farmer's market. And this sister came and blessed me today with some information, and I have to give it back to y'all. So the solution is, the revolution, they said it's not televised. Gil Scott Heron, you know, said it's not televised, but it may be on the internet. You know what I mean? It may be digitized, cyberized, right? So that's where the revolution is, and it's in our buying power, it's in the economics. So I'd like to share a couple of sites that were given to me. As soon as I get home, I'm changing all of my platforms, because what's happening is when brothers and sisters become powerful online on these social platforms that we don't own, they yank us out of there and they just delete the thing, you know what I mean? And then we're gone. All of the work that it took to get 100,000 followers, 50,000, whatever your realm of influence is, in one night, they can take it off and just, all your work is done, right? So we have to get on social platforms that actually encourage this conversation that we're having amongst us, right? So We Buy Black, I see you, WeBuyBlack.com.
And donate to their Kickstarter.
What's that?
They have a Kickstarter right now. They have a Kickstarter right now, so please.
Oh, okay, yes, donate to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look them all up. I didn't know about these, and you know, I heard about some, but I'm gonna actually go on and log on. Just if it takes numbers for social sites to work. So just sign in and register a name, and maybe, you know, it's no monetary commitment on your end, but just like Facebook, they need users to actually make the thing go around. Blackonomics.com, that's another one. Resurrecting Black Wall Street, it's our job to do this stuff. If you don't know what Black Wall Street historically was, you know, we can Google it, we can bring it back. This one story that really inspired me. This rapper went to Netflix and he has a bunch of trap movies. I didn't even know that trap movies existed, right? And he said that Netflix didn't want to put his films, these trap films, which are, you know, black, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? It sounds like what it is. These films on Netflix. So they said, all right, move them to the side. This cat went to China, bought iPads, went to the company that makes iPads and said, look, put all of my movies on these iPads. I'm gonna buy the iPads, put all of these things on there. He came back to the States with all of the iPads and all of the apps with the movies already on there and dishing them out. Look at the entrepreneurship in that. And it's called Trapflix. Brilliant. Right? I mean, that's the solution. So the solution is already here. We just have to connect with everything. Let's shift the whole conversation away from the problem. We know damn too well what the problem is. What's the solution? The solution is our money. The solution is, you know, our education, finding resources for everything. Why doesn't somebody make a calendar today with, all right, I bought my hair products, I bought my food products, I bought my medicine, I bought all of these, you know, things. And you list it out and you have a business that surrounds you where, you know, my wife, a little while ago, she was working on something called African Yellow Pages, right? In her area, DC, you know, DMV area, all the black businesses around there were in that telephone book, right? Now we could put it online. There's no more books anymore, but things are simple now. Let's work in that solution. The solution is here. The problem does not exist no more. You know what I mean?
There's a black, I'm part of it. Like, social media page called blacksocialnetworkers.com. You can join it. One of my Facebook friends, Messenger friends, I get on me about them, but I did read my phone, my computer, I need town, my desktop, I need. Adobe has my netbook block and something they want to use. So I don't know what kind of crap they got blocked.
Repeat the name now.
Blacksocialnetworkers.com. So so as of last month, a few of us, boys and brothers, that's up under Nappywood's pockets, has called for a 6-month boycott of these big box stores and other retail outlets, including the banks. So that boycott has already started. So now we are definitely buying back. Right now, I'm refusing to get anything to eat, and I'm hungry because I gotta go to the south side and get what I want at Mr. Farmer's Market because I'm here. I'm not buying anything. I'm eating what's in my refrigerator until I can get what I need, what I want. And I'm saying, oh, I need to stop at Ralph's. No, I'm not. I'm going to give it a gap food. Definitely just kind of go and make a smoothie out of it. But the 6-month boycott is on for all of retail, all of it, and banks.
Thank you, sister.
And also too, great points. But HBCUs have been around for years. So let's continue, and Dominique brought it up, thank you, and I went to CAU. Let's continue to support our HBCUs.
Yeah.
So Wendy Williams had a bash and everyone came down on her. Thank you, everybody. But it's important, that's already been around for years. So try and get, I mean, it can be expensive. My school is expensive, I was on scholarship. So if it's a matter of money or finances, scholarships, you know, write essays, do whatever you can, you know, ask family members, can you donate towards my, you know, but if you want to really support the movement, let's really, I mean, if you get a scholarship to State, by all means, take it. But if you can, do both. You know, support what's already been around and been there for you when nobody else was. Support HBCUs.
My prominent national foundation already got on the Black College Expo. That's why I work for it. You gotta slow down. What you said? I talk so fast. So the National College Resource Foundation, so NCRF or Black College Expo, if you guys heard about it, a lot of people in the school can right on the spot. So if we make sure Black College Expo, we have some Los Angeles, Oakland, Houston, Atlanta, York, I think anyone whose kids are looking at getting higher education, they accept kids on the spot. If you bring your transcripts, like these are a ton of black kids just getting into school, and with scholarships, everything. So,
National College Resource Foundation.
National College Resource Foundation, and then we have an Instagram, and then the Black College Expo as well, also on Instagram, and then you can get information, scholarships, everything.
All right, just gonna see comments for a second. I really want to see. I have the pleasure to say to help someone else introduce so they can address it. Regina's the creator of Nappywood, you guys.
This is such an important conversation, and this is our 4th year.
Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for coming. I'm the founder of Nappywood, and we had an idea like 3 years ago, even before 4 years ago, we had an idea, and it's about connecting our culture, our history, our economics through our hair, you know. And that's all this is. This is really bring everybody together through a conversation about natural hair, natural beauty, creating a sustainable lifestyle. And now let's talk about everything that we need to talk about. And I'm really happy to see that you guys are pushing the envelope. I think we need to think out of the box. We need to have these think tanks, and we're going to create solutions, which I know that she's going to talk about that in a little bit, so we can have something to go on. So in order to do that for our community, we need our community to support us. And one of our supporters is here today, and I'm so appreciative of Ms. Lisa Nichols. Oh, that go out and empower us. If you're not familiar with her work, you have to go right after this effect. Get on your phones right now and put the hashtag Lisa Nichols and Nappywood. You know, just support and just spread the word, please. So I'm going to introduce her. She's going to be on main stage right before the Music Tech concert. We also have Lift in the House, who said they have all kinds of free rides for you. So I think we're going to some little after party in downtown. So now we have free rides with Lift who's here. Okay, so I want to introduce Ms. Lisa Nichols for just a few minutes and come and experience a little bit more of her at 5:30 on main stage. I'm very appreciative. Thank you, my sister. Thank you. So, it's really I've been there. Hold on. I think we're here. So thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate the request. I think we were in Hollywood somewhere at an event. Yeah, at a concert. She pulled me to the corner and said, I didn't think I'd see you here, but since I did, will you? And it was my honor. My name is Lisa Nichols, for those of you who haven't met me. I've owned my own training and development motivational speaking company for about 22 years. And I built it and started here in Los Angeles. I'm born and raised here in LA. And I just had a dream. I had a dream and a 3-year-old little boy. And my first dream was to change his life. Because when he was born, I was on government assistance. And I didn't have money to feed him. I was on WIC. You know, some of y'all know about that, women and little children. And when he was 8 months old, his father was in prison. And I talked to his father this morning. He's still in prison. My son's 22 years old this year. And so I was a mom in LA needing to drastically transform my life because I knew there was more in my future than that was in my present. And I needed to become non-negotiable. So if I can impart anything on you, that the degree of your movement is determined by the degree of your willingness to be non-negotiable. That this isn't a season to ask permission. This is a season to give notice. This just ain't that season. And sometimes it's a season to give notice not only to those people over there on the other side of the tracks, but to give notice to the people living in the house with you. To give notice to the person in your head. To give notice to the people that you went to school with. To give notice to someone. And, you know, I'm asked a lot, I'm humbled and I'm grateful that I get to run today a multi-million-dollar business. And my company went public 2 years ago. And I'm one of 2 African-American women to found a public held company. And we're looking at writing a movie from public assistance to going public. Quite a journey. And I'm grateful for that. I take none of that for granted. But now I get interviewed a lot. I just released my 7th book called Abundance Now. And it reveals all the things and all the steps I have to take behind the black curtain. Because people kept asking me in interviews, what did you do to go from government assistance to Wall Street? What did you do? I said, I can't tell you to walk to the store. And I can't tell you in a 10-minute interview. That took some time. Because the first person I had to convince that I could do it was me. And I had to become so non-negotiable that my passion wasn't just for you. And either you got on board with me or you got out of my way. And it wasn't about you as much as it was about trying to see how big can I play. Just what happens if that ceiling isn't real, you know? Like what happens if the ceiling is just a figure of our imagination? And people often ask me, how did you get to a multi-million business? I've been an author of 7 bestsellers. I was the one, I looked a different way then, but I was the one in The Secret, way back in the day. So they're like, oh, yeah, that's you. That was me. And I was the first person of color to co-author Chicken Soup for the Soul. And so often I'm asked, how did you do it? I said, because I didn't. They would ask, how did you do it as a black woman? And I would say, I didn't do it as a black woman. I did it as a qualified individual who happened to be chocolate, motivated, full face, round lips, and kinky hair. I didn't wear the label, hey Bert, I didn't wear the label. I owned my capability, and I happened to be in this body bag. And so I just want to invite you and encourage you. I just came in the back just to stand and listen. And my commitment here is that I'm going to say, yes, I'm here, whatever you need me to do. And so she said, would you come and say a few words? Oh, okay. And so that's just what's been part of my heart, is that this is a season where your willingness to be radical will be a direct reflection of your success. And that your greatest breakthrough will not be found inside of your comfort zone. So my grandmother says your convenience and your conviction, they don't live on the same block. So are you willing to be inconvenienced for your conviction? See, I was called a lot of names when I began to do my work. People thought, oh, you're so excited. I said, no, you're not ashamed. I can do more for you when I go get this. That's right. And I can come back. And I can be of great service to you. Right. But the best thing I can do is be willing to be sold out for what I really want to do. So I'm going to say that be in charge of your future. Be in charge of your future online, offline, live, in your home, in your business. Be in charge and be radical. Be willing to be non-negotiable. And then sometimes you have to walk with somebody. You have to hold on to somebody. And there are times that you have to be willing to walk alone, so that you understand who you're walking with you when they come out. So it's my honor to just pour into you and to learn from you and to be beside you. I'm on the road 320 days out of the year. I've been in 7 countries this year. It was just August. And so it's nice to be home. It's nice to come back and hopefully pour some value into you. I believe that what I did right will take care of itself. What you want to know is what I did wrong. What you want to know is what success will cost you. You know, money matters and is everything until you have a lot of it. And then other things matter because they always did. And so I'll be around. I'll be on the main stage. I'm known to play outside the box, but when I'm invited, they know I don't even know that there is a box. Because the box is a big in our imagination. So that's my agenda, to disrupt. That's my agenda. Because it's just like soil. When you're planting a new seed, you have to till the soil first. You can't plant a new seed on that hard dirt. You have to till it. You gotta pull it up. You gotta disrupt it, and then you can plant a new seed. I believe that sometimes we want a new possibility in the same old mindset. We want a new possibility, but we want to be disrupted. And that's what my brother says. You want your conviction and your convenience, those don't come together. You have to be willing to stand for who you know yourself to become, not for who you've been. I tell people all the time, who I'm becoming is nothing new who I've been. Don't get caught up on my bio, call me to my future. And so I just stopped by. Thank you.
Didn't mean to stop the conversation with you, but that was totally worth it. We are continuing this conversation still, but that's a great way to really start moving into the conversation around solutions, talking about how do we move forward as individuals and as Black people. And I also would love to introduce our panelists right here. Garrett, and we're going to talk about self-care really quickly, and then you can start talking about solution-based, and we are really focusing on creating takeaway points that we ourselves can take away, but we can also share on the internet, and digitize so that we can share with others who are not in this room physically with us. Okay? I'm going to let him introduce himself first.
Hey guys, doing? You guys good? Yeah. My name is Garrett. I'm the founder of a Christian clothing company called Mountain Clothing. I also run a nonprofit called Sea House Project, where we work with homeless youth, kids that are aged out of foster care. I guess a little bit about me is how I kind of got started. I honestly just kind of followed my heart and making something that was different. I was starting to go to church and things like that. I just wanted to make clothing that kind of represented who I am. And so that's how it kind of started into making this Christian clothing line. And now what we do is for every purchase, we donate care packages to the homeless shelters down in Skid Row. And in return, we send you a prayer bracelet with the name of the person that received the donation. So it's kind of creating that connection between, the consumer and the person that you're helping. I really wanted to make something where you can really understand what exactly is going on in the homeless community, because I think American culture, sometimes we can rationalize on what's going on really behind closed doors. We can see that some of the homeless people are just, getting into drugs, alcohol, different things like that. And in my experience, a lot of them just went through a lot of hardship. And so by connecting the consumer with their story, what they went through, it really kind of opens up the eyes of people. So that's a little bit about me. I don't want to take too much time, but yeah.
My name is Thomas T.J. Lofton, guys. I'm an entrepreneur. Back in 91, I was the first person, 1990, I was the first person to ship a lowrider to Japan. I later went on to ship lowriders to Germany, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Making a Compton hobby into a multi-billion-dollar industry. How many of you guys do that? Lowriding is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Yeah. Not a lot of us. How many of you guys know that's what's driving our economy around California? That's my point. And to touch on what we were talking about earlier, the biggest problem in the African American community is communication. We are not communicating. How many of you guys ever heard of a doctor named Dr. Sabi? Okay, he just died today?
No! I just heard about it.
He just called me and told me. That's why I'm kind of like down out of it. But a lot of us don't know who Dr. Sabi is. This is the man who cured AIDS, cancer, diabetes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I sat down and I coached him and he coached me. And he said, he's the biggest doctor on the planet, but yet most of our people don't even have a clue of who he is. He cured AIDS. How many of you guys know someone here with cancer? Everybody in the room, that's what's happening to us. We're dying of cancer, and yet there's a person who looks just like us who cured it, but you don't know it. So getting on to the story is, there are brothers that make billions of dollars. Sisters, just like Lisa said, she went public. You guys, do people know what that means? There's a lot of people we don't know what's going on in the community. But one thing I do know is everybody's going to college. And we gotta look at what's working and what's not working. The college situation needs to be reassessed, reevaluated. Let's look at that. The sister said we're gonna support the colleges. We have too many people dismantling the colleges and tearing them apart, saying we're going to pull all these things out and teach people things that are not even working. What are you guys going to look at? What's effective and what's growing our communities? With 50 years of college graduates, why don't we own any black businesses that we're being told? Why don't we, what's happening? Let's educate ourselves, you guys. And then another thing is, Black Wall Street never left us, you guys. Wall Street still exists. You guys know that? What do you think Lamert Park is? View Park is? Ladera Heights, Windsor Hills? View Park is the richest African American community in America. And half of us don't even know what it is. When President Obama had his fundraising campaign, he went to a billionaire, his house in View Park. A developer, his name has never been Forbes magazine. We have so many wealthy people that we don't even have a clue in their business owners. We're taught to worship celebrities, athletes, and people like that, but we don't know anything about our business owners. I can name about 10 billionaires that you've never heard of. How many of you guys have ever heard of the Black Pilots Association? Exactly. We got a group of black airplane pilots, owners that own airplanes, right here in Compton, California, and all over the country, a whole bunch of billionaires and millionaires. Brothers who got businesses that we say that don't even exist. So one of the biggest crimes in the black community is the fact that we don't communicate, and most of our business owners are not telling us what kind of money we're making. Meaning, for me, for example, it pissed off a lot of people when I started talking about entrepreneurship purely based on the fact that I exposed my industry. I became a manufacturer in lowrider. Well, most of the lowriders guys are what? We think they're thugs, right? Gang members. But do you realize they're doing international shipping, international trade? They're globally known. I put over 200 cars in straight out of Compton. Did you guys know that? You ever notice there was 200 lowriders in straight out of Compton at $1,500 per car? There's a lot of things that we don't know, so it's communication, you guys. All the stuff that we say that don't exist, no one's doing, it does exist. But it's not like they're gonna put a sign on the wall outside, black owned. That stuff is over with, you guys. We just gotta start communicating and asking all the right questions because nobody's volunteering information.
Yeah. Great points, brother. Great points. We don't know because we're not on those platforms, and that's I'm reiterating my point. We need to hop on the platforms that are geared towards the black-owned businesses. You know what I mean? So we can. We don't need to put it up there. It's already a given. This is black-owned. Another point that I wanted to give a great point that these colleges that we're paying, who have student debt here? You know what I mean? Like. So everybody's buried in it, right? There these colleges, whether it's a community college, whether it's a historically black college, whatever it is, it's not teaching us about our true history. It's not teaching us about how to get there, the steps to reinforce the community, reinforce ourselves, and to become entrepreneurs. It's not doing that, at least to the best of my knowledge. What I was going to say is, because just before the two beautiful sisters spoke, I was raising my hand. I wanted to hit on a tangent. We're talking about education. We're talking about our children. Now, follow me on this. If the revolution is digitized, it's on the inside the world. If we're going to have to outsource our work to other companies in coding, all of this stuff, if we're going to other people to do this work for us, we're losing. We're going to need investment capital. We're going to need. So my best bet, there's a sister that gave me the same information today. We had an amazing conversation. This is another bit of the conversation I want to share with you guys because it's open to all of us. Every Sunday, we're organizing it right now. Every Sunday, we're going to create a little group where we can teach each other how to code. And these things are online. You can learn how to code online for free. It's good to have a little community, have a little class, you know what I mean? Brothers and sisters are there, and within a year, right? Within 1 year, you go to a free coding class online, you get your certificate, you learn how to code for yourself. Whether you choose to be part of this, system, Go work for the system. They're gonna start you off at $70,000 a year. Okay? Base pay. $70,000 a year, no debt, no nothing, right? Or you work for yourself and build your own $1 billion industry, right?
I have a quick question. What do you mean by coding? Are you talking about social media coding?
Coding, everything, yes, everything.
Okay,
Like
so
cheap,
then
cheap.
you wanted to know it's SEO, search engine optimization, that's what you're talking
Creating
about.
websites, creating all of that. She can talk what coding is.
Yeah, I code on a professional level. Yeah, my company is called the SEO Queen, SEO and I work with companies to get onto Google page one of their website, and Yahoo page one, and Bing page one, and optimize on social media. And actually, one of my past clients who I did a social media marketing campaign when she was running for vice president of Sigma Gamma Rho is now the new president of Sigma Gamma Rho. So my clients are in various industries and verticals and have been extremely successful with the insight and expertise that I put on their behalf. You know, when we talk about solutions, when we talk about economics, when we talk about the hashtag, when we talk about all of these things, your .com is ground zero. Now, when you develop a .com, don't be cheap. Don't go with Wix. Don't go with, you know, these free CMSs. It's imperative that you get quality hosting company, a VP engine, that you get professional, you execute professionally, where it looks good, where it will rank, so you're effective. And if you really, really put forth a lot of effort and are consistent and persistent and determined, you can really generate a lot of traffic and a lot of attraction for your company in 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months. There's a lot of free resources online. One website that I find that's really good for HTML is W3 Schools. Another great website for marketing advice is also the Search Engine Journal. My website, I have a Facebook group, it's a marketing mastermind group. It's facebook.com/group/the SEO Queen. Inbox me, hit me up. I'm answering questions all the time from entrepreneurs, and I will put my deck from the SEO workshop I did earlier today online too on SlideShare. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
And I just have something really quick to say. I promise we can go back to this conversation. But we also, like Greg said before, we will be having like a networking event afterwards. So if you feel like this is all over your head, or if you haven't gotten your chance to talk about what you're doing, there's time afterwards as well. So if you do have something to say that's not necessarily based towards directly your career, you'll be able to talk about it afterwards. Share business cards, contacts, whatever you want. We'll have so much time for that as well. But feel free to do it now as well. I'm just saying, don't feel like you're out of time. But there's also something I want to touch on as well. And being a young entrepreneur myself,
I just want to say that there are a lot of people who do have ideas. There are a lot of people who want to be entrepreneurs. And I think that we're in a generation now where a lot of people are starting to see the benefit of being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, and that you can grow and not have to depend on somebody else. A lot of people are starting to see that. And I think that a lot of people have ideas of what they want to do, but there's always one person in the audience who may not have an idea but want to be an entrepreneur, or has an idea but hasn't started that idea yet. And I just want to say, to somebody who does have an idea or does not have an idea but doesn't know what they want to do exactly, just do it. You know what I mean? And if you have your idea, there is no excuse in the world. There is no excuse in the world. Somebody told me, to my mom, it doesn't matter. But they said, when an idea comes through you, it's for you to do. So that means that if you have an idea, that means that it was for you to do. There is no excuse in the world. I have work today. Okay, well, you have 10 minutes right before bed to come up with a plan on how you're going to execute this idea. Well, I have to pick up my child from work. All right, well, while you're in the car, talk to yourself about ways you can improve on what your business is going to be like today. If you wake up in the morning, all right, I mean, I'm really tired. Oh, well, if you want this business to get going, you need to write in your journal about ways you're gonna get your business to start growing today. And, you know, a lot of times people are scared to do that stuff themselves, and they feel like they need other people to get that on the ball, you know, get that running for them. But a lot of the times what happens is when you get a lot of people joining on your projects, and when that idea comes through you and it's for you to do, and you get other people to join in on you, it's going to either backfire on them, or it's going to end up coming back to you in some way for you to do alone. So you don't need to depend on anybody else but yourself to do what you need to do. And all those people that are meant to help you will come naturally. So don't feel like, oh, I'm scared, I don't know how to do this, I'm stuck, I'm gonna need this person, you know, to help run this with me. No, you can run it yourself. You can do it, it's for you to do. So I'm just saying all that to say, if you guys have an idea out there and you're just too afraid to say it or you don't know what to do with it, just do it. Just do it and it'll all work itself out in the long run.
Good, that's good. What's next? Yeah, I just want to piggyback on that. I think that's a good point. You know, when I look back at when I first started my clothing company, I just wanted to make a shirt. You know, I just wanted to make an item. I wanted to make a product. And I think at times we can hold ourselves back by the excuses, by being too afraid to start something just because of the simple fact that, you know, we're afraid to fail. But as I learned, the more you fail, the more you learn. And so I just, you know, kept, I mean, the first item product that I made was, I look back and it was the wackest thing ever, you know, but you progress, you learn, you realize, okay, I need to change these different things. You can't stop, you know, and I think we live in this world where everyone's kind of judging and everyone's kind of, and you're always trying to live up to the standard of that judgment. But you have to come to a place that you have to be comfortable with your own idea, your own, you know, work of creation or whatever you're creating, and be comfortable with that. And you're not making it for people, you're making it for yourself. But what happens is later down the line, there's so many people like you know, so you made it for yourself, but everyone else relates. And I think that's such an amazing thing that God has done, is that we're all different, but there's something inside of us that connects us all together. And so I really look at like your artwork and your craft as like, you know, the ark. You guys know the ark in the Bible? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the ark. I mean, it took him a year to build that ark. And so many people was walking past, looking at him like, you're crazy, what are you doing? You know, and you just have to build your art over and over. It doesn't matter what people think, just keep doing it. Before you know it, everybody's gonna want to jump on that art because the wave is coming. And so you just gotta be prepared for that wave. And I think, you know, that's what I've learned as I started. I went to school for kinesiology, graduated with that. That's basically learning about physical therapy and you know, the body and everything like that. And then I ended up doing, you know, creating a clothing line. I had no idea how to start a business, how to run a business in any way. But as you learn and you fail, you start to learn, you start to create your own system. And you know, you can't copy other people's system. You just have to build your own system in life. And you start creating different things. You just learn different things. And I think that's the one thing that I would say, if you are looking to do something entrepreneur, like just starting, beat on it. You know, it's gonna take maybe a year, maybe it takes longer than that, depending on who you are, but it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, like, I think there's a misunderstanding of what an entrepreneur is. Like, a lot of people look from the outside in and look at it like, oh, this is amazing, it looks so fun, you do all these different things. But it's hard work, you know. It's like day in, day out, like working, doing the most craziest things that people will look at you and be like, man, you're a fool doing, you know, doing this and that. But it'll all pay off one day. You know, you just have to understand that it's not as easy as it looks. And you gotta be willing to do it, you know. So that's all I'm doing.
Entrepreneurship is an amazing thing, guys. Because people say business is hard. I think going to sit in college for 4 years is hard. You know, personally, that's crazy. I watched my daughter struggle trying to get it. Then go a year looking for a job, then another year as an intern. That's hard work. You know. Okay. But this is what I look at, you guys. I know people who make this. I'm a business coach, and so I help a lot of people start businesses. I had a gentleman who came in with an idea called Glow Checkers. I thought that was a stupid idea, but now he's making $15,000 a month average. You know, on a stupid idea. So when you face a stupid idea up against 7 billion people on the planet, things change, guys. There's a lot of money to be made. Let me talk about somebody else who had an idea. They had a guy who had a old raggedy computer-looking thing in his garage, and he didn't believe it. And someone else said, "I think that's a good idea. We should run with it." You guys know what I'm talking about? Steve Jobs. Stupid idea that nobody wanted anything to do with. Put $1,250 into it, and now it's worth $1 billion. It's a multi-billion-dollar plus company. He died with $300 billion in the savings account on a stupid idea that nobody would invest. So business is a lonely road, but it's well worth it. So don't let people discourage you, because they try to discourage Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg, and I can keep going down with all of these entrepreneurs who tried it and nobody will support what they're doing. But that's what makes you the genius, because you got a vision, you got an idea to do something that no one else has done before. So just put it together and surround yourself with like-minded people that can support you and help you. So we got a lot of people out here who got money with no ideas, and then we got people who got ideas with no money. So we need to start coming together, you guys. How many of us would take to come up with $1,250 in this room? Probably one of us. You know, if all of us invested in someone's idea, we'd be well off, you guys. So stop telling people to go to college, go get a job, and start saying, what ideas do you got? Let's invest some money in your ideas, because ideas create jobs. One video game sold for $5 billion, Grand Theft Auto. Do you know how many jobs that one video game created?
That's what it's. I went to college. I didn't know what I was doing there, honestly. But I also have 3 children. That's 1 senior in college, and I have twin boys who will go to college for the simple reason that it makes sense for me, for them. Now, it may not make sense for everyone, but all of my children are also entrepreneurs. My twin boys are 17. They have their own business. They've had their own business now since they were 14. They are also filmmakers. They have launched a film festival, and we train other teams as how to run the film festival as a way to build their resume, as a way to have some business skills, so they each get a title. Every year they come together and they build the festival. I'm not opposed to college. I think that you have to know who you are, because everyone is not an entrepreneur. Because the level of work that it takes to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, to work till 1 o'clock in the morning, and to continue on, that is, not everyone can do that. And you have to know, I think, who you are. Because to say, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm never going to go to college, but you don't have the fortitude to be disciplined. You don't have the discipline to do that type of work. And frustrated the rest of your life. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone who goes to college gets a job. We all know that's not the case. But college does offer a lot of things for individuals if you work that system correctly. It does offer things. So I'm not opposed to you. Like, I do believe in time. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur spirit. I've always been an entrepreneur. That's why my kids have their own businesses, because there wasn't a prerequisite in my home that by the time you're 16, you better have a business. I don't care if it failed at 16. I don't care if it was successful. The idea was to exercise those muscles. Because when no one offers you work, what will you do? When you graduate, what will you do? You know, to be able to learn. I mean, my daughter has 2 internships. One is with Oprah, one is with a startup company. Now, we don't know where any of this will take her. But she does have her own business that she's launching in the interim of her 2 internships. When she comes home, she must work on her own business. So I'm just saying, but because she went to college and because she had that opened up another set of doors that may not happen had she just been sitting home. So I'm not saying nay to you or nay to you. I'm saying you got to know who you are as an individual, what makes sense for you, because everyone is not an entrepreneur. I work with kids just the same as you, trying to build them, trying to help them, and lift them up to say, hey, you got an idea, go for it. They like the idea of it, they get excited, but when they go home, they don't do anything. They don't have someone there saying, hey, did you work on your business today, Johnny? And then if the parents are all just trying to figure out what they need to do for themselves, nobody's pushing Johnny. So when Johnny leaves me, Johnny's not doing anything. Johnny needs to figure out how he's going to make a living or what he's going to do. Now, if college may work better for Johnny, then it may work for you or me. I was not a college person. I went and I don't know what they taught me. Honestly, you know? And that's why for me, I learned that for my children, I wanted something different. So I'm just saying, I think instead of saying, you know, colleges doesn't work or college doesn't, you gotta know who you are. You gotta know who you are in the game, and you gotta figure out what makes best sense for you as an individual, because some people are meant to work for others. They enjoy that. They don't want the pressure of having to figure out how to make this work. They like to get, okay, you know what? I like my job at home. I get up, I get to do what they tell me. I don't have to worry about it when I'm done. I get to put my bag down. I get to go on my 2 weeks vacation, and that's how my life runs. But someone else be like, I don't like sitting here and on all day long, helping Oprah make more money. I'm gonna learn how Oprah made her money, and I'm gonna take that and make my money. And I'm gonna build my business. So just know who you are. That's my thing. I know you got something to say, so I'm going to
Yes. So you mentioned certain billionaires that are in the community, you are that kind of thing, and we're talking about entrepreneurship. Is there some sort of like angel investor type of group or a way to maybe launch something like that so we can bring the people who have the ideas to the people who have the capital and create Black businesses that are sustainable for the community?
Sorry, those totally exist. There's cross-culture ventures. There's a VC firm that's dedicated to Black multicultural, Black Latino communities, and they're all run by all Black men and women. So that's CCV, and there's plenty of angel investors that are out there. I think it's just literally doing, and we're not saying that you don't, but there's people invited. There's a lot of accelerators that are specifically for Black women, that are specifically for Black people, they're specifically for people of color. It's, you just Google it, literally, just Google it. And they're out there, and I know it is, it's like sometimes we're not in that mindset, we're not thinking about it, we're just like, where is the money? You know, like, or we're thinking like loans or taking it out to families, but there are a lot of people that are dedicated to actually furthering our businesses and literally just doing that. And a lot of the times it's emailing them calling. Yeah. Yeah, so there's Silicon Beach, which is everything that's on the west side, and there's a factory, and you can see like what people, which VCs and which angels are actually interested in which industries. So whether you're talking about hair beauty, if you're talking about tech, if you're talking about fintech, whatever it is, you can go and actually go in to see what their specialism is, and all on one side. So, and also downtown LA, I also, at my office for my magazine, an office space with started DTLA, which is an organization that's trying to actually bring tech and creative companies to downtown, because there's literally 6 million square feet of unused office space. So my office, I pay $0 for my office in the Wells Fargo Tower, and so you just basically apply. I didn't have to, but you know, you apply and you can get free office space and access to other VCs, because they're literally just trying to bring tech and creative companies to downtown LA. It's just all that office space you see in downtown is empty. Yeah, so yeah, no worries, no worries.
All these resources will be shared.
Yeah.
Together on the Nappywood.
How many people in here can name at least one Black housewife from reality? Raise your hand if you can name at least one Black housewife. Yeah. Everybody knows. And every one of those women has a business. When we look to buy lingerie, when you look to buy nail polish, when you look to buy hair, you look for their brand? Yeah. All of these corporations spend what, $10 hundreds of millions of dollars to get a commercial into. So I'm going to ask this panel here. You're telling these people, okay, yeah, you can get an entrepreneur, you can start this business. But people come to me and I tell them, the first question I ask them, how are you going to bring people to your business? How is anybody going to know you have a business? can you give people suggestions on people that do a blog or people that go into the internet every day? How do they grow people?
And just to add on to that question, I think this is a great time to start doing some closing remarks, and then you can also answer that question. And I just want to remind everyone that Roots in Tech is also about preserving ancestral memory through the digital age. And also it's about restoring value and learning about how to amplify the voices that matter to our community and also how to protect our voices.
I'm gonna say something real quick. Google, Yahoo, Belkin, and a host of other technology companies, Santa Monica, Playa del Rey. Amazon, 135th and Central in Compton, California. Porsche Test Track. Buy a brand new Porsche and go race it, Carson, California. Galaxy soccer team, Carson, California. SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City. Some of the world's richest men are moving within 10 miles of us in all directions. What does that mean for us? I can keep going, you guys. Marvel Studios on Rosecrans in Manhattan Beach, just working on Avatar 2 and 3. What does this mean to us and how does it affect us? This means our communities are going through the roof price-wise. Houses are going through the roof. When houses go up, so does rent. So that we are being priced out of this community. So we are no longer in the situation of, do we go to college or do we start a business? Well, you need to ask yourself, which one of those are going to allow you to buy a $1.3 million house in Watts? You got to ask yourself that. Are you going to be able to afford to live in the neighborhood you grew up with, you grew up in? Most likely not if you don't own a business. So it's not about should we, it's about what do we have to do and how do we do it and how do we do it now? Why? Because we're in a major situation where the major corporations are moving out of California. How many of you guys' jobs are on the line? Jobs are leaving. How many of you guys have been offered an early out? How many of you guys work for Toyota? Toyota will be out of here by the end of this year. The world's biggest motor corporation is moving to Plano, Texas from Torrance, California. These are things we need to be paying attention to when we decide, what do I want to do when I grow up? What do I want my children to do when they grow up? What is the biggest problem plaguing the Black community? Jobs. Every day you guys see a police officer shoot a Black person, it's not just there. It's not just about nigga and all of that stuff and the cops shooting them. They are not giving people jobs. What does that mean? That means we better start creating our own, period. We don't have time to sit here and debate if I got a great education and my child, it worked for me. Well, it worked for you because your house costs $12,000. Well, right now, houses are $600,000 in the worst communities. And by the time we get to 2020, houses will be $950 and up in the worst areas. So when you decide you're going to go to college, you better think about where you're going to be living. Most likely it's going to be Texas or Atlanta, period. That is a fact. If you want to know who I am, go to Thomas T.J. Lofton. You'll see I coach a lot of affluent people with money, and this conversation is being talked about a lot. We have a lot of our billionaires that are saying, TJ, how many of you guys seen what happened with Dr. Dre the other day?
Yeah.
People are seeing Blacks living in affluent neighborhoods and calling the police on them saying, oh, I think he has a gun. Now we got guns, we got police pulling guns on us at our doorsteps of our own homes. So we have a lot of rich and wealthy people in the community that's saying, you know what? I think I'm gonna move back to View Park. I need to be around people that look like us to where my money doesn't bother the wrong people. And that's how it used to be. At one time, we had doctors, lawyers, business owners, all living side by side. Regular people, all of us lived in the same neighborhood. Then all of a sudden, things changed and everybody moved away. But guess what? That's coming back together. Everybody's coming home. So I'm telling you guys, you don't have to believe me, but whatever I say is nothing but a seed that's being planted. Please research these corporations that's moving in your neighborhoods. We have the richest people on the planet, and they all live within 5 or 10 miles from your house, and their employees are buying up your communities. USC told its employees, buy a house in our neighborhood, we'll pay your mortgage for 6 months. I don't have to tell you how many billion-dollar buildings, what is it, 17, 21 buildings going up in downtown LA right now at $1 billion per building. And how many of y'all got a job at any other corporations I named? Anybody in here work for Google, Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City, anything like that? No. Why? Because they don't hire us at tech companies. Why is that? Because they know you learn too much. You guys want to research some of our billionaires? Look up Hopstop, Hopstop. A brother came up with an idea. He said he's getting tired of being on the subway and can't figure out where the restaurants are, where's the bathroom. So he tried to sell, he came up with an idea. He created an app. He turned around and put his app out, and they said nobody wanted to buy his idea because they said nobody would buy that. So he made it himself. $6,000 to put his app together. First year, I think they offered him $300,000. Second year, they offered him $3 million for it. What do you think he sold it for the next year? Anybody? $1 billion to Apple. Don't believe me? Google it. Then they turned around and asked him my favorite question. What else do you have? They know people who got ideas in their mind and they're manifesting them. They're going to keep having ideas. So they ask for the first right to refusal, meaning whatever else you come up with, I would like to buy it. So the second one he sold, they made him sign a paper saying that he won't publicly tell us what he sold it for. And that's what's wrong with the Black community. Every time somebody sells something for a lot of money, we sign something saying we didn't get that money. We can't talk about it. I sold a TV show that everybody in here saw, watched it faithfully, and they don't even know about it, that I did it because I signed that paper. And it's a lot of us signing these papers, you guys. So a business owner does not have to be somebody that's working 24 hours a day or whatever. You got people that came up with little bitty ideas. Every year they make an idea and they sell it. So business.
Well, to answer your question, what's your name? Loretta. I think the biggest way to really connect with getting your product out there, your idea out there, is to really study your consumer. Like study it to the T, where you know exactly where they are, who they are, what they look like, what do they like, all those different things. Once you study that out, now you understand who are their influencers, and so are there the people that they look up to. And so once you know that this is the person they look up to, now sell your idea, sell your product to that person, so that now it can influence all of your consumers that you're trying to identify already. The social media, all those different things, those different platforms, but before you even get into social media, you need to really dissect your consumer, understand exactly who that person is, because if you don't know who that person is, you'll just be selling to everyone and it'll look like your product